All right, you guys, welcome back to it. Conservative Confucius here. We're going to cover some of the Nigeria stuff going on today. I don't know if you guys have found out, but it's going on there with the Islamists. The Islamists are literally just slaughtering people left and right. And since 2000, there have been over 62,000 Christians killed in Nigeria by Islamist jihadist groups, Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Fulani militias. So, all right, let's get into it, guys. Oh, don't forget to go down there, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and don't forget to share this video. All righty, let's get down to it. So, thousands of Christians forced to flee ethnic cleansing in Nigeria as Islamist groups commit genocide. This is from Ollie London on Twitter. 8,000 were killed in 2023, which is insane. This is the biggest year they've ever had. Usually it was just like a few thousand at most over the entire year, and we're not even a full 6 months in yet, and we're already, I think we're over 8,000 now. I think it's like 8,200 something to be exact. It's crazy. So yeah, these are some of the people fleeing. So this is them fleeing their homes, their villages, and trying to get into other places for refuge.
Anza piga ile bunduki ile waliinstalia hapa mpopulation pasaki ndio iko napiga vile ndio naanza pia onyesha kosa na njia kati ya kufika watu wako mingi naanza kama hatari sai bunduki ndio kwa piga sai.
This is so sad. I mean, these people already have almost nothing. I mean, look at this. Their pants are falling apart. They got either no shoes or barely any shoes. Flip-flop. They got nothing. Flip-flops. That's just ridiculous. And there's already a camp there, so you can tell how bad it is. I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of these people piled up for days probably. And, I mean, they're all wearing, this guy looks like he's just wearing, I think it's just socks. Green socks, and the other person, everyone is just wearing flip-flops, socks, or no shoes at all. Yep, no shoes. Flip-flops, boots, flip-flops. Crazy. Look at that. It just goes on forever. This just goes on and on and on. I mean, you look like you have some decent housing right here, businesses or something here. But I mean, I doubt that's theirs. It's most likely either government buildings or been taken over already by the militia. This is just insane. This is so crazy. All right, so let's get into a little more. These are 3 of the most recent Christians that were killed. And of course, you're not hearing about it because why? No Jews, no news, right? I always say that here. So it's true though, but yeah, so this is them. They were killed by Islamists. And yeah, there you go. That's how bad this is getting. No one's talking about it though. No one cares. Muslims have killed around 150 Christians on it. This is Christmas Eve. This is a while ago. This one was really bad. I had seen videos of this. They burned down houses, slaughtered families. And this is like, I mean, it was just insane. Yeah, see, here's more of the villages that burned. I mean, this isn't on Christmas, but this is just what they're doing all over the place. They're burning villages, small ones, big ones, medium ones. Yep. See, I'm so tired. Yeah, he's pointing out Tucker Carlson asking the Christian pastor how they feel. Yeah, he was asking Christian pastor from Palestine how he felt, and it was just all BS propaganda, and I hated that interview. So stupid. None of what that guy said was even close to accurate. And he never interviews the actual Christians who are really being persecuted. I mean, Christians in Gaza and West Bank are being persecuted, and they want to talk about Christians in Israel who, other than like a small ultra-Orthodox group who's already in trouble with the law, that has been fined and gotten in trouble for spitting on Christians. Yes, there is that kind of oppression. There's no one killing anyone. There's no one forcing them not to be able to go to their church or their gatherings or have a parade in the streets. None of that's happening in Israel. It's all happening in Palestine. And then for these people in Nigeria and in other parts of Africa and in the Middle East, they just burn down their homes, kill them all, or force them to, try to convert. And mainly they don't even do that anymore. They just say, kill them all, take the women as slaves, which is what they do. It's insane. Yeah, this is one of the churches that was burned down. Yeah. So this is the this is older news. Yeah, so 8,000 Christians murdered in the worst year for Islamist attacks. So Cameroon and Nigeria last year witnessed the bloodiest year of Islamist attacks against Christians, according to the new report. More than 8,000 Christians were killed in 2023 in Nigeria, an International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law Inter-Society has said. The report published on Ash Wednesday gives a harrowing details of killings, kidnappings, and forced disappearances of largely Christian populations in several parts of Nigeria. The combined forces of government-protected Islamic jihadists and the country's security forces, NSFC, are directly and vicariously accountable for hacking to death in 2023 no fewer than 8,000. Here we go, 8,222 people. I knew it was 8,200 something. The killings were carried out by a range of factions, including jihadist Fulani herdsmen, who were responsible for at least 5,100 Christian deaths, Boko Haram and their allies responsible for 500, and jihadist Fulani bandits with 1,600 deaths, and Islamic-inspired security forces with 1,000. It is said that in January 2023 to January 2024 marked the deadliest years, and blamed the woeful nature of the Nigerian government and security forces for failing to rise to the occasion. But the killings over the past year are part of a long-standing war against Christians dating back to 2009, when Boko Haram started its murderous campaign against Africa's most populous nation. Nigeria has become the second deadliest genocide country in the world, accounting for more than 150,000 religiously motivated defenseless civilian deaths since 2009. That's crazy. 150,000. No one says anything. There's been less than 100,000 deaths in the war between Israel and Gaza since 1967. It's crazy. It says about 100,000 Christians were murdered, were among the 100,000 of the 150,000 killed were Christians, while moderate Muslims accounted for about 46,000 and 4,000 defenseless civilians as well. The report says the death toll in Nigeria surpassed the number in Syria, which has become embroiled with devastated civilian war since 2011, when the civilian deaths around 306,000 of about 21.5 million. The report states that killings, highlights of this for you. The report states that the killings and the related horrific atrocities or atrocious violence against people or groups and their properties based on the ethnic religious factors resulted in the destruction of tens of thousands of homes, civilian, more than 18,500 Christian places of worship, 1,000 religious shrines, 2,500 Christian traditional education centers. During the same period, over 59,000 square kilometers of land belonging to native Christians and non-Muslims were taken over and their inhabitants displaced and expelled. It continues to go on and talk about some of the years of so between 2016 and 2013, or 2023, a period of 8 years, more than 30,000 defenseless civilians were abducted by Islamic jihadists, and some say Islamic-inspired security forces, the report says. Christians in Nigeria say this government is not different than the Buhari government, he said. The report makes the point even more woefully. The most shocking of it all is that the jihadist Fulani herdsmen operate freely, unchallenged, with impunity and reckless abandon, with Nigerian security forces widely accused of being Islamic-inspired, turning blind eye and looking the other way, except when it comes to protection of Fulani cows and their herds, or herders, or arresting members of victim communities and their leaders, labeling them bandits. So the victims are being arrested and called the bad guy. Yeah, and I mean, this is going to continue until people realize that protection against Islam is the most important thing of the 21st century. There is no more important thing for Western, for African, for Chinese, for Asian societies than protecting themselves against Islam, which I would say below that is radical leftism. And both of those, hand in hand, for some reason, they like to go to each other, even though they both, like, even though the leftists for some reason love the Muslims despise, hate, and find disgust in the leftists. And they're, queers for Palestine, they hate all that crap. So for some reason they come together, and when they come together, they basically become the new Nazis. I mean, you're seeing worldwide, not just in Germany or Austria like we did before World War II. We're seeing worldwide anti-Semitism, and we're seeing multi-country, multi-continental Christian persecution. And it's not going to stop until Islam is stopped. And the only way to stop Islam is to shut down the borders, deport every single person, every Muslim who's ever been arrested of a crime or posted anything radical on social media or even liked anything radical on social media. So all three of those, Muslims who've been committed of a crime, posted or liked anything radical on social media, or were committed of a crime in their home country. So those three things are what we need to do. We need to go over all of those with all of the Muslims in every Western country. And if they fall into one of those three things, or all of them, they are immediately deported to their home country. And they are banned from entering any Western country at all. And if they do enter, they will be immediately imprisoned for a minimum of 15 years. And then after that, sent back to their home country for imprisonment there. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to go forward with this stuff. If they've called for the death of their country that they live in after they move there, if they've called for Sharia law, if they've gotten in trouble with, pedo crap, if they've gotten in trouble with, abusing people, women, Jews, whatever, any of that. If they've called for Sharia law online, if they've been to a protest for it, if they, were screaming gas the Jews, if they were screaming anything anti-Semitic or racist or against the country that they live in, death to the US, death to the UK, death to France, wherever they live, if they're calling for death to that country, immediately deport them. All of that stuff. You can't call for a death to the country you live in if you're an immigrant. If you fought for this country, grew up here, maybe then I would, at least say, yeah, I wouldn't want you to say it, but you have the right to. You grew up here, were born here, but you're not. You guys don't assimilate to our country. I mean, like, what's the point of moving to a country if you're not going to? If you say, "Oh, I'm moving here for the great benefits, for the opportunity," okay, that's cool. If you're going to want the opportunity and the benefits, then you must assimilate. You can't just hold on to your own culture so much that you just never ever become an American. You're still identifying as wherever you're from. You don't take on our culture, our language, our customs, none of that. Like, that's ridiculous. I can't stand, for example, I live in Arizona. Mexican people who move here, most of the time illegally, and then they never learn to speak English. They've lived here for 10, 12, 15 years, and they don't speak anything more than a few words in English. That's disgusting. And especially if they're a citizen. Like, I don't know if they do this, but if they do, it's ridiculous. If they offer the citizenship test in Spanish and other languages, that should be illegal. It should always be in English, so we know that they're assimilating. I don't know. That's just me. It's the only way to solve this kind of crap, where we just see unfettered immigration of Islamists, of other countries that are sending their worst here. I mean, just look, all the countries in Central America that were like, really getting down on the gang problem that they had there and just imprisoning them. Like, I can't remember, El Salvador is just imprisoning all the MS-13 people. Where do you think the MS-13 people that haven't been arrested are going? They're going here. Where do you think all the terrorists that are fleeing the places that they might get arrested in are going to go to? They're coming to us. Stop doing that. I live in Arizona. Like I said, that's where all the terrorists come in. All those crazy Islamists come in through my border, like 2-3 hours from my house. Like, why are we sitting here allowing people that want to slaughter people who are Christian, people who are Jewish, people who are non-believers, who believe in multiple wives, who believe in sex slaves, who believe in all this crap? Why are we allowing them into our country when they don't even obey the laws of their own country? That's just so stupid. So stupid. These people learned their lesson, sadly, in the worst of ways. We shouldn't have to get to that point. I don't want to get to the point where we're dealing with militias running around the U.S. trying to kill people. Time to wake up, guys. All righty. All right, that's going to be it for this video. I really appreciate you guys coming down and watching. Don't forget to go down there, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and don't forget to share this video if you liked it. If you didn't, I appreciate you guys staying and watching. All righty, come back for the next one. Have a good one, guys.